Okay, so let's just dive right into this explainer. We're unpacking Dale Carnegie's absolute masterclass on the fine art of human interactions. Look, if you're hunting for the ultimate summary of how to win friends and influence people to fundamentally level up your own life, or hey, maybe you're doing research to summarize the book for your own YouTube video, you are in the absolute perfect place. We are going to go step by step through literally the definitive guide to dealing with other human beings.
Get a load of this number, 85%. Research by the Carnegie Foundation and the Carnegie Institute of Technology revealed a frankly staggering fact. They found that even in super highly technical fields, think engineering, right? Only about 15% of a person's financial success is actually due to their technical chops. The other 85%? Well, that comes entirely from your ability to deal with people. It's a real game changer when you think about it. So that brings us right to the core concept of what we call human engineering. Carnegie basically defines this as the applied art of getting along with people, understanding their desires and really arousing their enthusiasm. Since formal education pretty much never teaches us this stuff, we're going to distill Carnegie's vast teachings into a structured, easy-to-use blueprint for human engineering so you can apply it to your life literally right away. This explainer is organized into 4 escalating pillars. First up, the fundamentals of people. Second, making people like you. Third, winning people over. And finally, becoming an effective leader. So we're taking you on a journey from baseline interactions all the way up to advanced leadership skills. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the fundamentals of people, mastering baseline interactions. The famous Gettysburg blunder brilliantly illustrates our first major point. Picture this. It's July 1863, and Confederate General Robert E. Lee is basically trapped against a flooded river. Abraham Lincoln saw this heaven-sent opportunity to just end the Civil War then and there, so he orders General Meade to attack immediately. But Meade hesitates. He actually called a council of war entirely against orders and flat-out disobeyed, letting Lee slip away. Now, Lincoln was absolutely furious. He sat down and wrote this devastatingly harsh letter. But here's the crazy part. He never actually sent it. No way. He knew that even though Meade just cost the Union a massive victory, sending a letter of harsh criticism would only make the guy defensive. It would force him to justify himself and basically ruin his future usefulness as a commander. So contrast our totally natural human tendency to criticize with the actual reality of human nature. Even notorious gangsters like Al Capone and Two Gun Crowley shockingly never blamed themselves for anything. They actually thought of themselves as public benefactors. Wild, right? I mean, if hardened criminals don't criticize themselves, why on earth do we expect our criticism of everyday folks to work? It doesn't. Criticism is totally futile. It puts people right on the defensive and wounds their precious pride. Instead, we have to flip the script and turn to appreciation. The great psychologist William James said, the deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated. It's this magnetic power that satisfies a really deep, unfaltering human hunger. So the bottom line is that to master these fundamentals, you've got to follow 3 steps. First, stop criticizing, condemning, and complaining. Seriously, just stop. Second, give honest, sincere appreciation. And third, always talk in terms of what the other person wants. Carnegie uses this fantastic analogy here. When he goes fishing, he doesn't bait the hook with what he likes to eat, like strawberries and cream. No, he baits it with what the fish likes, worms. So if you want to influence someone, you've got to arouse an eager want by looking at things entirely from their perspective. Okay, moving right along to section 2, making people like you, the likability quadrant. Have you ever found yourself wondering what truly makes someone just instantly likable the second you meet them? I mean, how do we actually break through all that noise and make a genuinely great first impression? Well, Carnegie hands us these 6 rapid-fire rules. Become genuinely interested in others, smile, remember their name, be a good listener, talk in terms of their interests, and make them feel important. He really hammers home this idea that you can make more friends in just 2 months by taking a genuine interest in other people's problems than you ever could in 2 whole years by trying to get people interested in you. And honestly, it is amazing how simply putting a genuine, warm smile on your face can unlock almost any door you encounter. There's a famous quote from the book that absolutely hits the nail on the head. A person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Remember the story of how a young Andrew Carnegie got all the neighborhood kids to gather clover and dandelions for his pet rabbits? It's genius. He didn't pay them a dime. He simply promised to name the bunnies after the kids who helped out. Now that is the ultimate power of using someone's name. It just makes them feel so uniquely valued. Awesome! Now that people like you, let's step right into section 3, winning people over, the art of persuasion.
We've got another profound quote from Abraham Lincoln that anchors Carnegie's whole philosophy of persuasion. A drop of honey catches more flies than a gallon of gall. I love that. Friendliness and honey will just always conquer anger and force. You simply can't force or drive someone to agree with you, right? But you might just be able to lead them there with some gentleness and sincere friendliness.
When it comes to the persuasion playbook, the ultimate secret to winning an argument is, well, to avoid it entirely. Seriously, 9 times out of 10, an argument just ends with each person more firmly convinced than ever that they are absolutely right. Plus, telling someone point blank, "you're wrong," is just a direct blow to their intelligence and their pride. It's a lose-lose. Instead, you've got to admit your own mistakes quickly and enthusiastically, and try, like really try, honestly, to see things from their point of view. And that flows perfectly into what's known as the secret of Socrates, getting the other person saying yes, yes, immediately. See, by getting someone to agree right at the absolute outside of a conversation, you're setting their psychological processes moving in an affirmative, positive direction. You're building a bridge of momentum right there, rather than trying to painfully break down a barrier of resistance. Finally, we've made it to Section 4, Becoming an Effective Leader, Advanced Social Mastery. Let's quickly walk through the escalating steps to actually change behavior. Think about the time General Electric needed to remove their brilliant but super sensitive genius, Charles Steinmetz, from his role heading the calculating department. They knew they couldn't just fire him or bluntly demote him. So what did they do? They gave him a prestigious new title, consulting engineer, literally for doing the exact same work. They brilliantly applied these steps, allowing someone else to take over the department while letting Steinmetz completely save face. It was a total win-win. It's wild to contrast our flawed human instinct with true leadership. While human instinct usually tells us to just give direct, harsh orders, Carnegie's way is to ask questions to guide people instead. And rather than pointing out every single little flaw, true leaders praise the absolute slightest improvement to really spur people on. Oh, and instead of hogging all the credit, a great leader gives the other person a fine reputation to live up to. Asking questions instead of just barking orders completely empowers your team and makes any fault seem super easy to correct. Just consider Charles Schwab for a second. The guy was paid $1 million a year, which, by the way, was an absolutely astronomical sum back then. And it wasn't because he knew more about the technical side of manufacturing steel than anyone else. Nope. Actually, scratch that. He was paid that massive salary because he knew how to lavishly praise, encourage, and arouse pure enthusiasm in the people around him. He completely understood that absolutely nothing kills ambition quite like criticism from a superior. Well, that brings us to the end of our explainer. But before we go, I'm throwing down a challenge to you. Which of these principles will you challenge yourself to apply in your very next interaction? Seriously, pick just one of these techniques to try tomorrow. Whether it's giving some sincere appreciation, totally avoiding a pointless argument, or simply smiling and using someone's name, give it a shot and watch how it dramatically transforms your world. You got this.